There is a problem, and we have the solution.
You are listening to Home Sellers Advantage. I'm Aaron Zapata, your co-host.
And I'm Todd Anderson, your other co-host. We are the Bald Brothers team at Impact Properties, and we are here to give you the Home Sellers Advantage.
You can find us online at www.baldbrothers.tv. Again, that's baldbrothers.tv. Or you can call us at 833-305-BALD.
That's 833-305-2253. Give us a call today.
Welcome back to the Bald Brothers show here. We call it the Home Sellers Advantage. I am Aaron.
And I am Todd.
And we thank you for giving us time out of your week. We know it's busy. We know you're busy. Never in the history of mankind has the American person been so busy. Or at least I'd like to think so, because I feel that way.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm constantly
behind. You're projecting, but that's very true. We are in a very busy society, and hey, if you live in Southern California, you know that is real.
You do. You know that's real. You know what? It's getting busier everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
When I visit places that used to be really slow going, not so much anymore.
Yeah.
So I get it. Like, you're busy, and I appreciate your time. We appreciate your time. And while you're at it, if you have a quick extra moment today, we'd love for you to leave us a 5-star review. We do have a thought today. We do have a thought that we are trying to process. We're trying to see if our solution, our proposed solution, is actually a viable solution.
Yeah, you know, if you're tuning in, if you're on YouTube, I mean, we have people watching on YouTube. We have people tuning in on iTunes and all the other places, Spotify, iHeartRadio. But if you're on YouTube and you remember when we brought up our solution, this is several months ago. We brought up our solution to fix the housing market issue. And I think it was a really good solution. If you remember that episode, leave us a comment and mention that you're one of the OGs that that caught that episode.
Wow.
So we're going to go back and resume the discussion on our solution. People should listen up because the Bald Brothers have a solution.
We think.
We think. Yeah.
We won't give you hair advice, but let's talk about some real estate stuff that really has been. This came up in a conversation this morning, actually, Todd.
Mm-hmm.
I was meeting with a city manager, and all cities have the same concerns when it comes to the real estate market, and that is turnover.
Yeah.
They want to know because turnover affects every industry.
Yeah.
It affects, of course, you and I, the real estate agent. It affects homeowners. It affects home buyers, the lenders, the title companies, the contractors. You think about it, when somebody moves into a new home, they've got new flooring, new windows, new whatever they're going to put in, or before they sell it, they're going to do some repairs.
Yeah.
And so real estate's a big driver of the GDP in our economy.
That's right.
And so as this real estate market has basically come to a 30-year low in terms of turnover, that is affecting a lot of industries. And it's causing a lot of people to make some really tough decisions. A lot of realtors have got out of the business. The average real estate agent in 2023 sold basically less than 4 houses.
Yeah.
Half of the industry sold one or none. So that's 800,000 realtors sold one or none. That means the rest of us sold the rest of those. But that's not what this is about. This is about how, Todd, do we get more sellers to decide to sell?
Yeah, because the reality is that there are a lot of homeowners that actually would like to sell their home. It's not a matter of how do we get people to against their will sell their home. That's not the issue. The issue is that there's a lot of people that would like to sell their home, but they have become married to their interest rate because when interest rates were so low, they had refinanced at these record low prices.
Yes, they have.
And now they realize if they're going to move like they would like to move, they're going to have a new loan that is 2 times what they were refinanced at in many cases, and that becomes a non-starter. So that's really the issue, is how can we allow or get the sellers to a point where they feel the freedom to be able to move, where it's not going to be a financial albatross.
Well, if we move back like 4 or 5 years and California home prices were so high, the rest of the nation hadn't caught up yet in terms of, Californians leaving California, taking their big lumps of cash that they've earned in this equity, and then driving prices up elsewhere. Now that's happened everywhere, outside of California.
Yeah.
Texas, Tennessee, Idaho. You go talk to the person that lived there 10 years ago, and they complain about all the Californians that have driven up our home prices. Well, we took all of that equity and we moved.
Yeah.
And so even an interest rate then, if it was, you're leaving a little bit higher or a lower, and it wasn't that big of a deal because you're dropping in your mortgage payment if you had one at all. Now though, those places, home prices have dramatically increased, so that your equity from California homes don't go as far.
Yeah.
So now you're forced with the issue: do you take on a loan in your replacement state or in your replacement home at a ridiculously high interest rate? And that's what you're thinking.
Yeah.
Now, historically, interest rates in the 6s and 7s are not ridiculously high. Those are good rates.
But if you look on a shorter time frame, it's ridiculously high.
And if you're like me and I own my home, I refinanced in 2021, and I have a 3.25% interest rate.
Yeah.
Actually, I have a 2.875 on my first, and on my rental home, I have a 3.125.
Yeah.
And it's just like, why would I ever get rid of that? And I'm in that same boat, so I'm really talking to me. Like, this is a solution that I would need. So hence why we started talking about this.
Yeah.
What is the solution?
By the way, before we go over the solution, because you're going to want to hear the solution.
Oh, you're going to want to.
You are listening to Home Sellers Advantage, and if you would like to contact us to talk more about your specific situation and scenario, you can call us at 833-305-BALD. That's 833-305-2253. You can also go catch us online at baldbrothers.tv. That's baldbrothers.tv. We've got more resources and information available there as well.
Yep. And I'd like to do a shout out to Beacon Escrow and Crosswalk Mortgage. They are great supporters of our show, and we love them, and they do a great job.
That's right. So we're talking about the solution, and we're talking about the issue with people not feeling the freedom to move because of their interest rates. Now, before we started, we were talking about some of the stats of where the current interest rates are. That's 92%.
This is like ingrained in our heads.
In our heads, yeah. 92% of homeowners currently
with a mortgage.
Yeah. I should specify homeowners with a mortgage because some people own their homes outright. Homeowners with a mortgage, 92% of homeowners with a mortgage have their interest rate less than 5%.
That's right.
Yeah, and what
92%.
Yeah, that's more than half.
If you're counting like our government counts, that's 100%. Everybody has an interest rate under 5%, yeah. And then you've got 63% of mortgage holders have a rate under 4%, and then there's a lot under 3%.
Yeah.
And I remember doing some refinances back in the boom, and I thought, man, we just got you a 2.125% rate, and then I got a notice like 6 months later that they refinanced and got a 1.9, and I'm like, wow, it's free money.
Yeah.
And so that's the problem, though. Yeah. The problem is for 3 years, anybody and everybody that has a mortgage that really listened to an ad or got something in the newspaper refinanced, and they took all of the free money that was being handed out essentially and refinanced into these low rates. And so how do you go from a low rate to an extremely high rate?
Yeah.
That's the obstacle.
Yeah. So that's the problem. And the other problem that you already talked about is so many other industries are reliant on real estate actually moving.
Yeah.
And so how it's in everybody's best interest for real estate to move, for sellers who would like to sell their home to feel the freedom to do so. And there's, like I've said many times, there's a kind of a trickle-down effect where it really does help the economy at large if real estate actually moves. So we have the solution. Aaron.
Here we go.
What is the solution? You're the one that originally came up with it, so I think you should explain this solution to everybody.
Okay, thank you. Todd, I'm not sure I'm the only one that ever thought about it.
Yeah.
But we started talking about it
I'm going to say you're the only one in the entire world, in the entire universe that came up with this that we know about.
Well, thank you, Todd. That's right, that we know about. And so here's our idea. Create a program that allows you to take your rate.
Yep.
Super simple. If you currently have a 3.5% rate and you're current on your mortgage and everything's going great, your income, your job situation, whatever the case may be, if you are given that opportunity by your lender to take that rate with you, I bet there's a lot of sellers that would say, you know what, that's all I needed. That's what I needed in order to make this sale. So now they would be selling their house. They would be signing up for a brand new mortgage, not taking your loan with you, okay? Because the loans are tied to the home, right?
Exactly. So it's a brand new mortgage.
Brand new mortgage.
Brand new note.
Right? And within parameters, set up some sort of parameters that say, okay, if you borrow essentially approximately the same amount, maybe definitely if you borrow less, maybe a little bit more depending on your income.
Yeah, there'd be have to have some sort of math worked into the situation.
Exactly.
Of course. Yeah.
That they would say, we will go ahead and grant you a replacement rate that is the same as yours.
Yeah.
Now, they could do it as an adjustable. They could do it some sort of a plan. I don't know what the plan would look like, but that would be a situation that frees up a lot of inventory. A lot of sellers would say, I'm moving on. Now, that's good in a couple of ways, okay? One is I think it'll still keep prices high, okay? Now, that's not good for buyers. Buyers are like, oh, man, great. But this is called home seller's advantage. So if you're a home seller, you want to know that your prices are not going to be crashed by this because you are going to take that rate and you're going to become a buyer. Okay, so the buyer pool is going to actually go up if this happens. So home prices actually may go up. But here's a couple of good other reasons. The person buying your home does not get to assume your rate. So that buyer is going to have a regular loan at a regular interest rate that's going at the market value, and banks are going to be happy with that. Lenders are going to be happy with that. Wall Street's going to be happy with that.
And quite often these are first-time buyers, so that's what they'd be looking at anyways.
Yeah. And when I was having coffee this morning, you know, what he has heard his own family members who are first-time buyers say is, man, you know what? We are realizing home prices aren't coming down. We know rates are high.
Yeah.
So if we buy now and prices go up and rates come down, we will have to refinance. We'll refinance when that comes down, and we'll save money then. But we have to get into the market somehow. We want to get in now.
Yeah.
So that's a buyer mentality that we are seeing come around right now, which is why buyers are still buying. But it's easy to have 10 buyers when you only have one house for sale in the entire town.
Yeah, and you mentioned something about how this will cause the rates, the property values to continue to go up, but they're still going up now as it is. Because the truth of the matter is just what you mentioned. Buyers are realizing, hey, if I don't buy now, I may never buy, so I'll buy and I'll refinance later. So which means that buyers have come back to the market, but there's such a shortage of inventory because of that disparity. We're seeing property values continue to go up, even though the interest rates are much higher than they were in the last several years.
Now, I think we have some obstacles with this plan.
Yeah.
Okay, and this is some of the initial feedback that I got, which is, after we started talking about it the last time, and honestly, it kind of made me gun shy about talking about it. But now we're 2 years into these interest rate hikes from March of 2022. Yeah, when rates went from 3 to 7. Now we're still sitting at 7. Yeah, high 6s. 2 years later,
they've come down.
2 years later,
slightly.
Yeah, right. But still, 2 years later. Right, we're starting to feel the long-term pain, which is when corporations start to make moves. That's right. But I think that's an issue that we're going to face here is that corporations are not going to want to pass on a rate of 3% or 3.5% when the going market rate is 7%. So I have a proposal for a solution. Okay. I believe that most of these loans that were done at these really low rates are actually owned by our government. Freddie Mac, Fannie Mae bought these loans, and they own them. Yeah. And I don't know if they have, resold them on the market to other investors because they're not good producing loans compared to market rates, right? Why would Wall Street want to invest in a loan that is under market rate? Yeah. They're just not going to pay for it. So I believe the government owns all these. Now, if you have some access to this information and you're listening to us or you're on YouTube and you're watching us, would you let us know? Go find out. Yeah. Because we want to know who owns these loans, right? Yes, they may be serviced by Bank of America, Mr. Cooper, or some of these other guys, but that doesn't mean they own him. Who owns it? Yeah. So if Wall Street won't do it and the government already owns these loans, why not make it a government program? Yeah. If you're already, if you're backed by Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, and they say, hey, take over, just move that. This is a really good opportunity for the government to actually refinance those loans and start over.
Yeah, get some movement.
Yeah, get some movement. But from a financial perspective, most of the first 5 years of payments are like a lot of interest.
Mostly interest. The bulk is interest.
A little bit of principal, right? Yeah. A lot of interest. And so if the government's looking to raise a little bit of money, why not refinance? Because you start the clock over again.
Yeah.
If the government doesn't want to do that, but they want Wall Street to do that and Wall Street to participate, Wall Street's going to need a handout. And I don't care about your, your ideas of what companies make or profits. It's not about that. What this is about, it's how do we get people to be able to move again. Okay. Because the government may come in and say, you know what, Wall Street, we need you to participate in this plan because we want these loans off of our books. So we need to refinance out of them. You take it on, but we're going to, supplement the lost quote unquote interest profit by these low rates for 5 years or whatever the case may be. So there's some sort of workaround perhaps that could happen. Super complex, way beyond my pay grade. Like I'm not that guy, but I am this person that says that does make sense to me on this fundamental basic level. And if you're listening to this and you're thinking, man, that's all it would take for me, would you share this? Would you comment? Would you just let us know?
Yeah.
Or are we completely off our rockers? I mean, are we just two old guys that are getting,
Let us know. But, this is something
cranky.
that we keep coming back to. And like I mentioned at the beginning of the show, we several months ago, we brought this up in an episode. And we keep coming back to it because the market hasn't changed much when it comes to those interest rates since we first introduced the idea. So come on, let's get this moving.
Yeah. So, if Wall Street's not going to buy in, right? We don't have any of those corporate hedge funds saying this is a great idea because they don't think it's a great idea. We have to have some sort of political movement, and I'm not all for, forgiving debt and just letting it be absolved.
No, this is something completely different.
Completely different. No. This is people that have worked hard, that have been making their payments, that feel landlocked or home locked because of the rate, and they can't afford to make the move. Those people need help.
Yeah.
I think of some of the elderly people that are in homes that are really too big for them. And
they want to downsize.
But they can't.
It's a very common thing. Yeah. They want to downsize too much house. They want to go to a single level home, and they're stuck.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think of, a friend of mine. He is a musician, young, married, bought a condo. He's got more kids now.
Yeah.
And he's like, Aaron, I can't. I'm so lucky I got in when I did, and I refinanced into this low rate. I can't. I would love to. I need to. But I can't.
Yeah.
Because I can't make that new payment.
Yeah.
So setting fairness aside, however if you don't own a home or whatever your thoughts are, we want to know your feedback.
Yeah.
We would really like for you to comment, send us an email, call us. We'd love to have a conversation with you. And if you can articulate a different argument, we'd even have you on the show.
Yeah.
We'd put you on.
And by the way, we're wrapping up a season in an episode or two. But that's something we want to get more into is start doing some more interviews on the show.
Wait a minute. You said start doing more. Have we done?
We had one schedled and then they canceled. Yeah.
So, okay.
Start doing interviews.
Thank you, Todd. Let's just be saying
we did have one scheduled.
We did, and it was going to be a 2-part episode.
Yeah. But we'll have to get back to him. Yeah. But by the way, hey, Aaron mentioned call us, give us your ideas. Well, how do you call us? Call us at 833-305-BALD. And for those of you who don't know, BALD spells bald. So 833-305-2253. You can also go to baldbrothers.tv to our website. We've got resources and information there. And you can actually subscribe to our newsletter there. We encourage you to do so. We do keep in weekly contact with our subscribers. So there's never an excuse for you not to know how to get a hold of us. Now, if you do call that toll-free number, it will more than likely, in fact, almost positively, be our answering service that picks up. Every once in a while, we're able to connect directly, but it's normally the answering service. You give them the information, and we will give you a call right back. And you say, well, why don't you answer the phones yourself? Well, because we're busy working for our clients. And so, but the other thing is having that call center allows us to receive calls 24/7. So you're not calling and leaving a voicemail. You're actually talking to a live person who we have instructed them how to handle the calls. So we get all that information. So we do encourage you to give us a call at 833-305-BALD.
24/7.
24/7, baby.
7 days a week.
Yep.
3 a.m.
Yep.
Wake up. Wow, I heard those guys on the radio or on YouTube. Yeah.
If you call us at 3 a.m, don't expect to call back at 4 a.m.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. But we would like to say, we haven't gained much traction at all with this idea.
Mm-hmm.
But being that it was brought up again this morning in a meeting, I think it does have some merits.
Yeah.
And my billionaire friends that I ran it by don't think so.
Mm-hmm.
But, I don't know. Maybe
you know what? You need to get some new billionaire friends then.
I know. But again, they're looking at it from the fiscal side, right? From the large corporate side. They're not interested.
They're looking at it from that side. That's why you introduced government involvement.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I prefer less government involvement, just by and large.
Mm-hmm.
I think that, we do a pretty good job running things on our own.
We are not proponents of more government involvement.
We are not.
Normally.
We are not. But there are some good programs out there that the government does help with. My farming subsidies. There's a lot of great things that they help with. So definitely not opposed. But it's going to take something of that sort, in my opinion, in order to get something like this rolling.
Yeah.
And then once that happens, think about it. I mean, we're at 2.2% in Orange County in 2023 turnover rate, which means out of 1,000 homes in your neighborhood, only 22 sold. That used to be 70.
Yeah.
Okay, they used to be 70.
That's amazing.
Now it's at 22.
Yeah.
Okay, when those 22 people have a program, I mean, those are the ones that have to sell, must sell, distressed, divorced, dying, whatever the case may be. Those are have tos. You throw in there another, 2% that can now because of this program and will. Now you're at 4%. Now you're moving back to that normality.
Yeah.
Our real estate market begins to turn again.
Yeah.
And all of those extra services begin to flow again, and it actually helps the economy.
It helps the economy. I mean, I think I've shared in a previous episode how my wife and I owned a business back in 2007, 2008 that failed as a result of the housing market crash because we were indirectly related to the veracity of the housing market, and it did have an effect. Now, this would actually primarily have an impact. The most impact would be in, I don't want to say the lower priced homes, but in the multi-million-dollar market, you're not going to see. It's more in the regular. Well, we're in Southern California, so anything under $2 million, we probably would see this having the biggest effect. Those that are multi-million dollars, typically those are different types of financing, oftentimes cash transactions. So it wouldn't have the same effect in that market. But the bulk of the market is what we're talking about.
Yeah. You and me.
Yeah.
People that buy normal homes.
Normies.
Right. Normies. But anybody that does mortgage financing can recognize that this is a potential solution, and we get to see it firsthand every day. We know buyers are signing up for mortgages that are really high. By today's standards, looking back 10 years from now, 20 years from now, you might be like, man, I'm so glad I bought in 2024 at 7% rates. I mean, looking backwards 20 years from now.
We don't know what's going to look like.
Because today's payment 20 years from now is going to be a deal, and so if you're in the market right now looking to buy, if you're in the market right now looking to sell, we are the Bald Brothers team, and we work all over Southern California.
Yep.
But we're also being called by clients now from other parts of California.
Yeah.
And so we've got a trip scheduled. We're going to go see a seller out of our area that has said, we saw you on YouTube, we read all your reviews, we want you to come talk to us. And so we're doing that.
Yeah, we're going up to Monterey County.
Yes, we are. So, it's going to be a nice road trip for Todd and myself as we embark on this journey. And why do I say that? Well, because you may be thinking, these guys might be able to help us. That's the call you want to make.
Yep.
You want to call us and just say, do you guys think that you can be of help to us?
Yep.
If we can, we will.
We would love to. So give us a call, 833-305-BALD.
That's right.
All right.
Are we good?
I think we're good for today.
All right. God bless you. Thanks again for your time. Leave us a review, and we'll talk to you next week. God bless.
The Bald Brothers team is a licensed DBA of Real Broker, licensed by the California Department of Real Estate, number 02022-092. Again, we do not give any real estate, legal, or financial advice. If you'd like to reach out to us, you can call us at 833-305-BALD, or you can reach us online at baldbrothers.tv. Equal housing opportunity.